My name is Amy Smith. I am from the Simca Band Nation, which is out in Chuchawa, or like Barrier. I have been in Kamloops basically all my life. I was born here, I was raised here. I'm going into my third year at for social work, and I am currently employed at like Komete Sequamic. TRU is trying their best when it comes to like the sensitive subjects. Again, I think it does depend on the professors. So one of my classes, she would say that the trigger warning right before like a day. So if we didn't want to come in, we didn't have to, she would be okay with that. I find a lot of people have like higher expectations and expect me to know all these things, but I was never like raised with like knowing that kind of stuff. Like, a lot of people will be like, hey, do you know like what the medicine wheel is? And like, I do know that. I don't think you should like assume. And so I find that like I'm definitely more seen than I want to be. I'm definitely seeing more like Indigenous students, more like younger, and like trying out all these new programs. And I find that like some programs will like hold certain seat for Indigenous students. For social work, they held like a specific number of like seats, just like really helped out with that.
Tante, Drew Rose, Natiga Sun, Mikso Oti, Otinia. Hello, my name is Drew Rose. I'm from Red Pheasant Cree Nation of the Treaty 6 territory in Saskatchewan. My family and I have been humbled Indigenous guests in Kamloops for the last 17, 18 years. In my experience, Indigenous studies were presented, in a way that almost like just checking the box. I think we have to do the work and really be genuine about what we're teaching. I believe that Indigenous ways of knowing and being isn't just something you can get from a book. You need that lived experience, you need to be on the land, and you need to be with those knowledge carriers and those elders to really understand, those Indigenous ways of knowing and being. The university has to do better when it comes to, triggering or traumatic content. We have to be able to set up our students for success and be able to, really feel for them. A lot of the instructors and professors don't have that lived experience or don't have the traumatic intergenerational trauma. I think they have to do better to understand and maybe step back and reflect on, their students or those Indigenous students that are in there and their perspective and their understanding and how much it's affected them. My undergrad, it was a little bit tough to be seen or heard. I felt like I had a little bit of imposter syndrome. As I grew on my education journey, I voiced my opinion a lot more. I felt like I was an advocate and somebody that could speak up for a lot of my cohort that were soft-spoken or really didn't want to be in those spaces. Had those discussions where I was able to speak their perspective and really bring their voice to the forefront. But I think at the same time, it's tough when you don't see yourself in the curriculum or what's being taught to be able to voice your opinion or your perspective or your thoughts on it.